Hello.
Hello. How are you?
Yay. I'm good. Welcome to Small Scale Chatter.
Thank you.
Hey.
Good.
Hey. Welcome people in chat who are just coming along. Hello.
Hello, everybody.
For those of you new, this is Small Scale Chatter, a new and exciting web show and podcast for the miniatures community, where we're helping to spread positivity and share with the huge community that is there all the really cool things that are going on with companies and artists and sculptors and painters. And yes, this show is very new. This is episode 2. Yay! And we're here with Cerberus Studios. So exciting.
Hello.
If you like what you see here, you want to help support the Small Scale Chatter, you can do so with our Patreon. From as little as £2 a month, you can help support us, help us reach our first goal of 50 supporters, which will allow me to get a subscription to Podbean, which will give me loads more options available for when I'm sending the podcast out to people. So yes, if you want to, please do that. We have, yay, hello, come on, hello, good evening. Welcome. So I have a guest with me today. My guest is Ben from Cerberus Studios. Ben, introduce yourself. Tell us some amazing things about Cerberus Studios. I already know loads of amazing things, but you, go ahead.
So, in a nutshell, Benjamin, pleased to meet you. I'd love to hear from you all. I own and am the creator of Cerberus Studios. I have 2 IPs, Mortal's Reckoning, which is a Greco-Roman fantasy, and I also have Celestial Affinity, which is a medieval horror. So I like to play about with both storylines. Mortal's Reckoning is a 32mm scale miniature-based business and eventually a role-play game. And Celestial Affinity is a 54mm scale, more for the skirmish-based game, which I'm currently developing at the moment.
Ooh, you already answered some of my questions from later. How dare you? I will ask some more questions about that, definitely.
Yeah,
very interested in that role play.
Lots to say.
Yes. Okay. Oh, yay. Paul from Pandemonium Miniatures says hello.
Hello, how are you?
Welcome to Small Scale Chatter. Yay. Don't forget, you can ask your questions in the chat. We have a special section at the end for questions, but if you put one in that's relative to what we're talking about, I will ping it up as soon as I've finished talking myself, because I'm here most important. My questions come first. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. So, as you mentioned, your collections consist of 2 different distinct ranges. So we got Mortal Reckonings and we have Celestial Affinity. So why, I guess you touched on it a little bit, but why did you go for this sort of approach of these 2 very different ranges?
Well, like with anything that you create, you go to what you love. I've always loved Greek mythology. I love Greek history, Roman history, all things fantasy. So I thought the best way to jump into that even more was to create my own world based around those things that I love. So that's where Mortal's Reckoning came from, basically from the myths and legends I used to love to read as a child, and also now. Not only that, from 10 years old, I've been playing Warhammer. I started with Orcs and Goblins and progressed through to the love of chaos. So that really spurred on my fantasy love. And then with Celestial Affinity, who doesn't like vampires, werewolves, humans and demons all fighting together? Lets me tap into the really dark side of fantasy. And with the stories I'm writing, creating for that, it's just such a wealth of material you can look into.
It really surprised me when I read that you've been playing this case, because you don't look like a typical nerd. When you sent me your bio, I was like, oh, he's been a nerd for a very long time here.
Very long time. I'm a very big geek. I love all things fantasy, superheroes, movies, the lot.
That is very good to know. I've only just got into Warhammer, so I'm only just sort of learning now what Warhammer is about, being that I'm in Nottingham and that's like the headquarters for it.
Home of Warhammer.
Yeah.
There are no pictures of 10-year-old me painting anything. Luckily, it's just the later years.
There's no pictures I can bring up on screen now of like, this is what it is. So, can you go into a bit more depth about what Mortal Reckonings is and what your plans for it are and sort of why people should get excited about it?
Really open question, and there's literally so much to say, and please, I will go off on a tangent, so apologies.
That's fine, we've got time. Go off on a tangent.
Yeah, Mortal's Reckoning, initially, when I created it, was based around just the love of beautiful miniatures, and as I said, the Greek mythos. As time has gone on, however, it's developing more into a tale about Lazarus, who is behind me just here. He's my main hero, and it's his journey from becoming a mortal to an immortal, and his interaction with a variety, a pantheon almost of gods that I am also creating. So don't think of Zeus and Hera and all of those that you already know. I'm creating a whole pantheon of my own that like to interact with mortals. It's just a great way of just delivering a story that goes into so many different tangents. A good example of that would be Corvina, who a lot of the collectors have also bought and painted and love her story. Just allows me to really jump into people's personalities and why they choose to follow a certain god. What are their decisions based on? Through all of that, I'm also now writing a role-playing game for Mortal's Reckoning. So not only can you collect the models and become one of the characters that you've already seen, but there's a whole raft of new characters you can play with and jump into the world I'm creating there. So
I'm excited for that RPG.
Painting, gaming, figure collecting, and also the love of fantasy stories. Some viewers may or may not have seen on my website, I've got short stories that you can download for free and read. Just so it again puts you in a position of understanding who these characters are, their motivations and the interactions. So later on, when the role-play game is released, which I'm working on being next year, you can really jump into that world and go, oh, I love Corvina, I love Thrall, or I love Lazarus, I want to be that person. And then who knows from there, really.
So you'll be able to play like the actual main characters, or will you just be interacting with them? So they'll be like NPC types.
Well, at the moment it'll be NPC scenarios, but you can play Lazarus, and there will be a selection of new characters coming out which will be released when the game comes out that you can play. So you can interact with somebody who may want to be Lazarus in your group, or interact with the NPCs and the scenarios we'll create. With this game, it'll be based around open world from the world I'm creating, but also can be based around a story. So you can be Lazarus and actually interact with his story that we're currently writing at the moment.
Oh, fun. And the mechanics for it, is it going to be your own mechanics, or are you going to base them on
my own mechanics
that are already available?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm working with a very talented team, and it's all heads down and working things out at the moment. I'm very
you
lucky
need a playtester.
with some very talented people.
Wow, playtester. I've got some people.
Playtester, painter. I mean, I'm talking to somebody who knows it all.
So one of my favorite ones in the collection for this is the goddess.
Yes.
I fell in love with her as soon as I saw her. I'm going to put a link in the chat for the goddess, but I'm going to show some pictures as well. So this is the goddess. Oh, and she is beautiful. As soon as I saw this.
She's the goddess of balance in my world between good and evil, light and dark. Her actual name is Thenia, which is how the other gods refer to her, but all mortals obviously just know her as the goddess of balance.
And I'm going to show off. So I have this one. I painted it. I couldn't find my really good pictures, so that's my picture of it painted. As you can see, I went for a darker skin on her. just because I wanted it to stand out a little bit. Everyone else was doing pale skin and light colours, and I was like, "Well, I'm going to go for dark colours."
It's really interesting to see and speak to people who have already purchased Denia the Goddess, because some people purchase her with an idea in mind of their own, or they follow what we're prescribing in terms of who she is. But I've seen people talk to me, they've turned her into a corn demon, a Zinch demon. In fact, all the Chaos gods from Warhammer, she's now become one of their entities.
Yeah, I saw like someone had put like skulls in all like the sort of like the worshippers at the bottom.
Yeah.
So they had like skull faces. It's like, ooh, scary
From
looking.
my point of view, it's great to see what people see and what they want to show with my models, because obviously I've got my own ideas and who these people are, but interacting with others and going, oh no, this would be perfect for whatever it may be. It's great to see.
Oh. So I've got some other pictures as well. This one is a relatively new one, isn't she? She is.
Yeah, she came out only a few months ago. She is the captain and the head of the Amaranthine Guard, who are the immortal, eternal guard that protect the pantheon of gods and my version of Mount Olympus. They don't need protecting; they're all powerful at the end of the day. However, you always need a standing army, because the evil god knocking on the door.
Yes, I love that it's all like these like sweeping sort of robes, like with the goddess. Just like they're very dynamic poses. They're not. They feel very like they're moving. I love it.
And that's what I wanted with everything we design at Cerberus. We want something that has life to it, not just the. I think it's the famous old Hero Quest Chaos Warrior who's standing there just like that, not moving. The people collect these miniatures and they play with these miniatures because they're drawn to them in a, let's face it, a lustful way, whether that be an orc, an ogre, a woman, a man, whatever. People really are drawn to dynamic miniatures, and that's something I really wanted to convey and portray with my range.
So I just wanted to show this beautiful picture of the goddess as well that you sent over.
Yeah, and I have to say again, working with a talented team as well, they created the archway for me that she's standing in. So I'm really spoilt with creative people behind me who are really helping to deliver these ideas, especially when it comes to the photography as well.
And we'll talk about the photography and things later on it. I also I have this one as well from the Waters Reckoning, because this one I remember because you've got this massive base that you bring out for the shows.
Yeah,
it has like all this like lava going up behind it. You've got the lights and there's this guy and then like the reflections coming off him, and it's just. I remember coming over to your stand first time in like UK Games Expo and just being like, I want to go there. I want all of these things.
Yeah, get a tan.
It was so good, and I just really love this one, and I love the painting on this one. I mean, just the OSL, the wings.
Job. He really does. I mean, again, it's the talent of these painters that again bring these things to life. And Angel does such a wonderful job with these. Just conveying the personality through paint is just incredible.
Yeah. I both love him and hate him.
I'm very envious, and I'm not really envious of many people, but his skill is just unreal. Yeah.
Makes me both happy and sad.
yeah, mixed emotions.
So on the flip side, we've got the Celestial Affinity. So tell me a little bit more about them, because they're quite different from the mortal mechanism.
Very, very different, and we haven't released too much about this at the moment. But with Celestial Affinity, it allows me to plumb into the real darker elements of fantasy, almost the horror aspect. With Celestial, I also live in history, the medieval period, and there's a wealth of material and research you can really jump into with that. So with Celestial, I've created a story where you've got a medieval world, kings, queens, knights, but you've also got the darker underbelly of society where you've got vampires living in the darkness, you've got the werewolves, and it's their forever war as well. mixing with society, but also battling all at once. And then to throw into the mix, you've then got everyone who's happy and fighting each other, and then you have a unifying big bad. And that would be the demonic horde and Emperor Aronoth himself.
Let's show off him, because he is a beast. So this is where you can find him. You'll be excited. So this is boom. He is a beast. That's the only way to describe him.
Yeah, for lack of any other summary, he is everything that is evil in the universe. He's my version of a Thanos, or a Hades god, or everything that epitomizes evil and destruction is Emperor Aronoth. All he cares about is wiping out any form of life. And
in case you're wondering how big this model actually is, you've got him, haven't you?
Here he is.
Look at that. He's a beast.
He is magnificent. Just to give you the scale against a 54 mil. There's the 54 mil. So he doesn't like minis. I couldn't help myself. It was a case of, I need something that reflects the evil that this guy is. So why go for a big model? And he's a painted green. He's got a lot of detail. He's big. You can do all sorts of wonderful patterns and fades in them, whatever your skill will allow, really.
Yeah. Like, I can just imagine him, like, he's like the perfect thing for if you're trying to, like, you want to do like some cool tattoos and things. He's got just loads of skin available that you can just practice.
He's literally a slab of muscle. So you want to tattoo him, you want to paint in veins, you want to put thunderbolts on him, wherever your imagination takes you.
Yeah, wow, indeed.
That comment, thank you.
Yeah, that is.
I say it a lot at shows and when I talk to people, creating all of this is wonderful, but seeing people's reactions and their comments just is so rewarding. In both veins, hearing what people don't like and obviously what they do like. And because I've created two IPs where one is very ancient history with Greco-Roman and one being medieval, the conversation is just so rich, and it's great to hear what people really love and love to hate. A lot of the things I'm creating from my own love when I played games was I love the thematics, I love the stories. So with each miniature I release, it's about their personality and their personal story. So talking to people when they've read the background and going, oh, why does he do this? Or would he ever do this? Or will she do that? It's just great.
That's really cool. Oh, so a lot of my questions you've already answered. This is very rude. So I had one question that was, I can see these worlds being part of a bigger RPG campaign or a large-scale strategy game. And you just already
say that.
Because I'm so good at my job, I can automatically look at these things and be like, yeah, I can see where that's going. I can see where that's going.
Well, to jump into that a bit more, again, I have to rein myself in because I've written the story for Mortals Reckoning and Celestial where I'm so far ahead in the storyline. I have to remember that you and other people don't know anything about it really at the moment by what I've released. So it allows me to really jump into the role-playing game to deliver that story in the role-play book, in the short stories, in the audio books, again, where you can just, if you haven't got time to read, just sit back and listen. So I want you to get involved in my world, really start to form a relationship with the characters I'm creating, whether that be a positive one or a negative one, because eventually you'll be able to interact with these people in my world in the game. And by the time it comes out, you're so invested in with a character that you either want to kill them or you want to interact with them because you love them so much. And that'll especially be something with the gods as well, because the characters in the game will be able to worship a particular god. When you play the game, you can then, worship whoever you wish, whether that be for a good reason or a bad reason.
Yeah.
That's the joy of roleplay. It's a fantasy. Yeah. It's not our real life, so we can be as evil as we want to be or as pure as we, where you might be good or bad. That's what good gameplay is all about.
Excellent. That sounds very cool. Okay, so we've talked a little bit about the sort of the short stories. But how else can people sort of connect with you and with Cerberus Studios and the story that's sort of unfolding before us?
Well, in terms of connecting with me, I've said many times, please send me messages on email, on social media. We've covered all the social media platforms, our Facebook page, our Instagram page, and our Twitter page. We post regularly on all those channels, whether that be our own teases, other people's painting, because we always want to see what people have painted, what they bought from us, and we share those. Always happy to talk to people if they've got any queries, whether it be about the models themselves, about putting them together, or even if just a case of chatting about the lore. You can talk to us on any platform, email us on our website, and of course we've then got these forums with yourself as well. So ask a question. It's always great.
Excellent. So you have so you're writing stories at the moment.
Yes.
And there are comic books and audiobooks as well.
Yeah, so again, like to cover a lot of mediums from what I love. I used to, again, read Transformer comics from a very, very early age. I lived and breathed Transformers when I was a child, so I collected all the comics. In later life, dipped into Venom and Deadpool comics and things like that. And even 300. The 300 comic was just fantastic. Well, it's a book, really, comic book. So again, for my own thing, I couldn't wait to release something. So when you buy Lazarus, the miniature, you will get a prequel comic which tells you who he is and how he came to be this eternal warrior who's very troubled and has a lot of vengeful nature in his soul, and just tells a story very, very dramatically about what that is. And eventually there will be a comic series about other characters, especially Corvina, developing something in the background about her, just to tell you a bit more about her background. Away from comics, we've then got the audiobooks. We've released one of those so far, which is, again, Corvina's story. We've then got the short stories that have been released on the website, and they will be continual as well to give you interactions with those characters. On top of all of that, I'm in the process of writing a story about Mortal's Reckoning, a novel about that story in the world. One thing that many companies did well, especially Games Workshop, is involving you in their lore, whether that be from Warhammer Fantasy or Warhammer 40k. You loved playing the game because you loved the story. And that's very much the ethos I'm trying to do with my company, is involve you in the stories and the lore. And then it all goes from there.
Amazing. Now, the people that I work for, my boss, my publishing boss, is the guy that set up the Black Library for Warhammer.
Wow. Yeah.
It didn't exist before he came along.
A rich thing to just jump into. It's just wonderful. What are you in the mood for? And just the choices are great. And that's what I want to do with my company. Eventually, when we've been around for a few years, you'll see more things in what we call the Library of Asher, where you'll see.
So I haven't put a link there.
Perfect.
Oh, no, that's the wrong one. That's the. Whew, I'm totally fresh.
That'll be our repository of stories, where you can eventually have all the characters, both old and new, and developing stories from there.
So long-term plans, like 5 years time, 10 years time, what do you want from Cerberus? How would you take over the world?
Pinky in the brain, world domination. I mean, top all the all-powerful ones and become the king. All joking aside, grow Cerberus to such a degree where people know the IPs, they know the company, for good stories, good gameplay, fabulous miniatures, and just a place where you can lose yourself. And there's so many plans in my head that, again, have to rein myself back. But it's a case of growing the stories, growing the games from the initial ones we'll be releasing next year, which will be the skirmish game for Celestial and role-playing for Mortals. But beyond from that, the expansions for both of those IPs, individual games, storybooks, a comic book range, and who knows, if we're ever in a position where we can knock on the door of Netflix, that would be wonderful. That's the dream for any creator, you know, seeing your story turned into something on TV screens or movie screens would be an utter dream. But baby steps, and you know, we'll go from where we are at the moment, which is delivering, we hope you agree, fabulous miniatures and good stories, and eventually the games from there.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I feel it, like, for people watching who paint miniatures, like, these are like premium miniatures. Like, the resin, great quality. The sculpts themselves are highly detailed. Like, whenever I paint them, I'm always like, oh, like, I got really sad because I was like, I've ruined it. I just can't paint as good as this mini is. But they are beautiful, beautiful miniatures. I fell in love with them as soon as I saw them at UK Games Expo. I was like, yeah, I need these in my life. I need them.
With miniatures, we wanted to create something where you have a blank canvas, obviously, because it's resin, but we put the detail in the design. So if you're an amateur painter or you're at God status of painting, where you make something literally come to life, the details in the miniature. So you will always have a nicely finished piece, regardless of your level of painting. Obviously, if you just dip something in wash, you get what you've got. But you know, that's the beauty of just painting miniatures, whatever your level.
So, Pandemonium Miniatures asks, who is the artist who painted Lazarus, the image behind you?
So the image behind me is drawn by a wonderful artist called Daniel Zrom. Daniel, again, has an enviable talent. He paints with oils, and the man just is incredible. He's drawn the majority of our Mortals Reckoning characters that we've released, and he just brings things to life, and it's just stunning. Every time we have a conversation or I give him a new brief and he delivers some of the sketches alone, how do you do this?
Yeah.
In my other roles, I'm a photographer, so give me a camera, I can create something I like to think is artistic. Give me a pencil and my stickmen look ill. So but Daniel just has this wonderful talent that his other works he's done that you'll see on his Instagram page and social media just really are beautiful.
I will get those links from you afterwards as well, so I'll put them on the YouTube video so people can go and have a look at that work as well.
You should really enjoy his work. It really needs to be seen. He's done a lot of things for Magic the Gathering as well. He's done some bits for Warhammer. He just takes you to another world just simply through his drawing.
Okay, so another thing that we've sort of talked about a little bit is toy photography, which is completely different from Cerberus Studios, but it is something that is a hobby for you and something that you really enjoy. So tell us a little bit. Oh, all of my lights just went out.
And
I've still got the internet though, so that's fine. Bear with me one second. Ooh,
if only that had happened when we mentioned Aronoth.
Bear with me a second. There we go. Oh, I'm blind. Oh, I forgot that I have my laptop on a timer. Turns off at 7:30.
Mood setting was great. So, toy photography, dim the lights.
Yes, toy photography. Let's get serious now. But yes, so let's talk about your toy photography, because that's like a hobby for you and just something that you find super fun and awesome and cool. And tell me.
Yeah, I mean, my background is fashion photography. That's my other career. And then when I'm doing all of this with Cerberus, that moved into doing toy photography, making, photographing my miniatures in the battlefields that we create or just in the studio. Since then, that's also developed into, as you say, more of the hobby side of things, where I've jumped into my other passions and loves, being a big kid that I am at 41 and unashamed to say it, that I love Transformers, as I've said before. So taking pictures of some of my favorite characters and putting them into scenarios, it's just great. It's a little bit of a passion and turning something plastic into something hopefully that looks a bit more real. I don't know if anybody's watching his Transformer fan. I mean, Grimlock, I mean, you can't not love him. I get a bit nerdy. I get proper nerdy when it comes to Transformers. I have to do. My fiance hangs her head in shame when we start talking about toys.
Amazing. I'm a big fan of toys. Like, all of my decoration in my house is just toys.
Let's face it,
I have nothing adult in my house. It's just like, it's a cool toy.
Yeah, my office is somewhat covered in my own media, and then we've got little bits of other media popping in from Thundercats, He-Man, Transformers. It's great. I've just set up another business where literally I sell toys. So dealing with Hasbro, Disney, Mattel. So again, that sort of fuels the toy photography hobby, but also allows me to just live in nostalgia.
Yeah.
See all the old.
I would sell this, but I want it.
Yeah, exactly. This is coming to sell. Don't keep it. Moving on.
Yeah, a lot of my stuff is My Little Ponies. I love My Little Ponies.
Big way. Anything in the 80s is really coming back now.
So I had this one My Little Pony. I'm going to say this out loud for the whole world to see, just in case someone buys it for me. He was a sea captain. He was blue, a Shire horse. His name was Captain Barnacle. And he had like a little treasure map on his like cutie mark. He was blue and he had orange mane. My mum got rid of him, and he was my favourite. And I'm still devastated. I'm 36 and I'm like, where is Captain Barnacle? If anyone has one or finds one, please send me Captain Barnacle. I love him so much.
There you go. We see it all over social media now. Wanted Captain Barnacle.
Find Anjuli, Captain Barnacle. I would be forever happy if I found Captain Barnacle. Yeah. He was my all-time favourite.
And again, all these things just tap into our inner child, and that's what this is all about. Just, it doesn't. If you're an adult, it doesn't matter. Enjoy these things, especially during what we've been all going through this last year with the isolation, pandemic, and everything else. We all need moments where we just jump into something we love. It's harmless, whether that be My Little Pony, Care Bears. I mean, Super Ted's even coming back. I saw in the news the other day, and Super Ted was great. So again, the toy photography allows me to jump into that. My own business is Cerberus, and my own IPs and characters allow you to jump into those sort of things as well. Yeah, I mean, Wheeljack, Starscream, just allows me to be a big kid again. It's great.
I've got some really cool ones I did show very quickly, but like you've taken obviously some of your miniatures as well and made them sort of.
Yeah, so that's Celestial Affinity. He's a member of the Demon Horde. As you can see in the background, Aronoth is there, all in the background, dominating even from afar.
Very cool.
Allows me to tell a story through photographs as well.
Yeah, something that I am rubbish at is miniature photography. At some point, I will need to get like lessons from you or something, like how to take a half decent picture. And mine are always rubbish. And I look at the photo and I'm like, this looks much better to my eye than it does on this photo. What has happened here?
A tripod is your friend.
Yes. That is probably. I probably need a better light box and better backgrounds.
Again, nerding out with all the photography stuff as well, with all the backgrounds I make and all sorts. I totally agree. Everyone should keep a part of their mind at 7 years old. Totally. I can't express the joy I have when I hit nostalgia land, and like with Transformers, with Netflix, when they brought out their latest series, literally sat there like a big kid again. I was 7 years old, rooting for the people I love, and it's just great.
Yeah. I was very excited when Disney Plus came, and I was like, I can watch the Chippendales again. And I literally for a whole weekend sat and watched them all.
I found the series Gargoyles on Disney Plus, and I obviously haven't seen that since as a child. And that was earmarked.
And Gummy Bears.
Yeah, One of the best theme tunes going.
Yes, it's my ringtone.
Yeah.
It's been my ringtone for like 10 years.
But again, this is where I let myself loose a little bit. With Cerberus, we've created a theme tune for Mortal's Reckoning, which is on our YouTube channel. We've created a theme tune for Celestial Affinity. So when we start delivering more and more with the IPs, we'll have music there as well, which is our own as well, just to throw you completely atmospherically, whether it be reading, visually, hearing things. We really want to submerge you into it.
That's cool. I do like it. Like, something that I always think that RPGs are missing is like an official soundtrack, something that you can play whilst you're playing the game, have something on in the background that is designed for the game that you're playing. Like, because you can get like tablet noise and things, but like having something that's like, okay, we're playing this game, boom, here's the soundtrack for it, and get people like into the feel for that. What the people creating it were feeling as they were writing it.
It's like movie. I like to treat things with what we create like a movie. When you watch a movie, you've got the soundtrack in the background, even if it's very faint and you're not really concentrating on it. When you watch something again, you hear, oh, I didn't hear that music before, but it was delivering an atmosphere. Again, same with everything I'm doing here. It's about delivering all these subtleties that really put you in a position that's delivering that part of a scenario or story. So with Aronoth, it would be something very dark and brooding, but we've got some of our lighter characters in Mortal's Reckoning, which would be a bit more brighter, but obviously they still have an undercurrent of their own thoughts or processes, but it helps deliver that character even more.
That's very cool. People, go to the YouTube channel, which is the only link that I don't have readily available. I think it's in like the Facebook like thing though. Go look at the Facebook page, and I put the link in there. Go to the YouTube channel. Go check those out.
Yeah. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, because the more people we get subscribed to that, the more YouTube will give us to showcase more stuff.
Yes.
And for anything else as well, it's a form of interaction. As myself, as a gamer and a player and a modeler, I always like to talk to those who have created things or have access to find out bits and pieces. And I can't echo loudly enough how, from my point of view, Cerberus, we want to see what people are painting and how they've painted our miniatures. We want to talk to you about our lore. We're interested in your questions. Interact. That's what this whole community is about. Again, especially because of what's been going on for everybody through this last year. It's about talking to each other and losing ourselves in wonderful stories.
Yeah, and I think that is something that the reason that I started this is that the miniatures community is 99.9% this hugely wonderful, positive place where people come together and want to support each other and help each other to do well, no matter whether they're a painter or a small business. Like, people want other people to succeed. You know, there's obviously that 1% troll, but they're quickly, booted out of the community. Yeah. But it's like one of my favorite things about being in this sort of online community is that everyone just wants to like help each other out and be just nice and positive and raise each other up.
Yeah, the encouragement when you see people saying, oh, what do you think of my painting of this miniature? And you see all the comments. It's really nice to see, because when we play these games as groups, and the advent of the internet and what we can do now, those groups are getting bigger and bigger and bigger, that we all interact just to have a good time, because that's what we're doing. I mean, yes, for us it's a business, but aside from being a business, it's because we love it. So when we're at the exhibitions and you're talking about whatever we're showcasing at the time, you find yourself going off at a tangent talking about the lore with the collector because they're interested, and that is such a great thing.
Yeah. Oh, right. Okay, so here is the moment where chat can ask me some questions. So chat, if you have questions, things that I haven't covered that you are really interested in, pop them in the chat now. We have had a couple come through from Annie of Bad Squiddo Games, who was guest number 1 2 weeks ago. So Annie, she said 3 questions. So I'll give you all a bit of time to write your questions in. The first question is, do you currently play any miniature based games? If so, what? If not, why not?
I used to be an avid player of Warhammer, especially End Times. I loved End Times when they brought that out. So played about once a week. But then when I created Cerberus, I haven't had time to play anything since, whether it be playtesting for my own world or just busy with the business side of things. I love gaming. I used to also role play Vampire the Masquerade. I've done Death Watch. So, it's in rough answer, yes, I did play games. I just don't have the time at the moment, unfortunately.
We should RPG at some point.
Definitely.
I would like that. We should have like an online game, and I'll bring Annie in and some other people, and we should do some RPG.
Dangerous.
I've played RPGs. I played Tales from the Loop with Annie. It went weird. It went weird, but it was wonderful.
I have derailed a game once by being a particular character.
But I think it would be fun. We can play some games. Just like one-shots, just like little games. That'd be fun.
Yeah, very much so, yeah.
Second question is, are the coolest women in the industry Anjuli and Annie?
I have to think about this. Of course. What do you mean? It doesn't require a thought, does it?
You heard it here first.
Who doesn't readily give the hugs you pay give when I see you at shows?
Yeah. So it's official, everyone. Myself and Annie of Glasgow Games are the coolest women in the industry. Though we're not the only women in the industry. There are some amazing, cool, awesome women in this industry. Let us shine. But me and Annie are the coolest.
Definitely. That's so.
Yes. So where do you pull your inspiration from? I know you've talked about sort of your love of like Greek mythology and things like that, but are there any other places where you go to get your inspiration for your photography and for your games and things?
Yeah, I mean, there's so much out there to see and experience. I love going to art galleries and museums and looking at Renaissance art and things like that. Really does inspire me. I can quite happily, again, nerding out in a totally different way, sit in the National down in London for hours just looking at paintings, because it just inspires me for different ideas for characters or locations, and also just movies and TV series and things like that. And unashamedly to say, superhero stuff that is out in abundance at the moment. Can't wait for Black Adam to come out, for example. Just seeing movies and experiencing that inspires me all the time. I'm an avid reader as well. Tolkien, Lord of the Rings. David Gemmell is just an amazing fantasy writer. Raymond Feist, all these just superb writers. Lose yourself in their stories and you come away inspired for whatever's percolating in my mind at the time. Excellent.
What have you been binging? This is a question for me. What have you been binging on like Netflix over this lockdown time? What is your favorite thing?
There's so many things I've watched. I actually can't answer that question because they blur into one. From documentary series about real life murder to things.
I've got really into those lately. Just like, give me them true crime docs.
Yeah, exactly. True crime documentaries. You've got Disney Plus with all the various, as you say, 80s nostalgia on there. Then you've got Vikings on Prime. I've watched all that anyway, but I've binged that again. Too many to list, if I'm honest.
I highly recommend The Cecil, which is about a hotel in Skid Row that has had like the most amount of murders and suicides.
I saw that a couple of months ago. Yeah, with they found. I won't spoil it for anyone if they haven't watched it. But basically, it's dark. Yeah,
yeah, and there's like season 5 of American Horror Story is called The Hotel, and it's got Lady Gaga in it. And the hotel is based on the Cecil. So like all the people who are in the hotel are people who have died or killed themselves in this hotel.
I thought that was the best series in that whole thing. The hotel one was the best.
Yes, I really like the hotel one. So yeah, The Cecil. Everyone should go and watch that because it's only like 6-8 episodes long. It's like a limited series on Netflix, but it's very, very.
If you want something a bit more nitty in depth, watch Vikings. I mean, I just watched the last episode recently. It's just great.
Yeah, I think I'm on the last season of that. So Yeah, I've not watched the whole thing, but yeah,
It's
on
good.
my.
And if you like anime, Castlevania was great.
Yes, Castlevania was so good.
Really good.
I really enjoyed that. I didn't know what I was going into, but at the end I was like, yeah, I like that.
Yeah, they did it right. The animation was good. The music was good. The voice actors were great. I just want another season there.
Yes. Yes. Oh, and Gravity Falls. It's a little bit older on Disney Plus.
Yeah, Mark hasn't watched that yet.
So good. I'm on my 4th watch of it this lockdown. Because it's 20 minutes of like just fun and lovely. Yeah, just it's good.
Well, we've got the Lord of the Rings series coming out soon as well, which will be good, hopefully. And there is a rumor that they're going to redo Game of Thrones the last season.
They should. It was
everyone was so disappointed with it.
Gonna get so much hate now for saying it was rubbish. I didn't even watch the last episode. I got all the way up to the penultimate episode, and then went, you know what? I don't even care. I didn't watch it.
You've got to watch the last episode to say you've watched it.
Oh, maybe. We'll see. We'll see. So, not any questions coming from the chat. So that means I've covered everything. Yes, I've done my job well. Woo, go me. Have we got anything else to plug here? Have you got anything else that you want to tell people who are watching? Anything new, exciting, wonderful?
Well, Celestial Affinities are big projects at the moment. There's a lot of things happening with Mortals as well. With Mortals Reckoning very, very soon, we should be releasing a cavalry side of things to our miniatures. So chariots, horses, etc. Can't wait for that to come out. It's coming out very soon. But for those who love, for those who love medieval horror and Celestial Affinity, have been following Celestial Affinity, all you've seen at the moment is our demons, the trio of demons, the Horde, and Aronoth, who needs no explanation or introduction really. But we're just about to release and showcase our human element of Celestial Affinity. And I think we've got something to show you.
Yes. 1, 2, 3.
Boom. So
boom.
This is our first 54mm scale character representing the Human Alliance, or one of the many characters of the Human Alliance. He's called Greco. He is a commander of the wall. He is a man, no-nonsense man, who is literally in every place he needs to be on the wall during the siege when the demons arrive. He's got his trusty axe. He's bellowing his commands to his fellow soldiers, boosting their morale when things are going sour. Can't wait to release this guy and to show him painted as well. I've actually based this character on a very good friend of mine. This is what he looks like, apart from the armor and the axe, but facially, it's
amazing.
He's just a great character. He just inspired me when we work out in the gym together. I thought, I know I can make you into a character, and he's the first human we'll be releasing.
Amazing. I love all the detail in the armor, like the engravings that are in there, which would be like really good for if you're a like an amateur painter, you know, just like putting the metallic, like a black base, and then doing a dry brush of metallic, pick up all of those details really quickly. And if you're someone who's working on like non-metallic metals and things, you can pick up lots of really beautiful detail.
And because it's 54mm as well, there's so much more detail we can show in that. I mean, it's a wonderful scale. I love 54mm. Just handling miniature at 54mm is great. You can show the detail in the armor, as you've said and can see. And with the other bits and pieces that we're coming out along the years and the months to come, hopefully you won't be disappointed.
Yeah, Pandemonium Mini says, he is ace. That armor's brilliant and a really expressive face.
Thank you.
Yes.
His face, actually, I photographed him doing that action, so we could replicate that perfectly.
I love that.
When we release this miniature officially, we'll obviously be releasing the artwork with it as well, which will show you the colours, but also just the artist replicated his features perfectly. So he's on cloud 9 because he's got a 54mm scale miniature version of him.
That's the dream. Like for like I want to be a miniature in every person I talk to's range. And he's already put me in her World War II group. So Ben, what are you going to do?
Well, with Drago and that character, he'll actually come with 2 head options. Both are him, but one is, as you will see, him screaming commands or some sort of obscenity. The other one will be so you can play him later on in the story, and he's going to be very scarred and burnt because of what he goes through. So it allows you to see yourself in a way you never see yourself before. I really want to do something with me, but you can't do that.
Do it. I do it all the time. I'm always on Hero Forge, just making myself into minis.
Can you imagine the abuse I would get if I made myself into a god in Mortals Reckoning?
Do it. Me and Annie would be like, yeah, that seems right.
Yeah. And then the list of abuse comes after that. No, it's a somber note, but it's again something that is great. We can express things because I work with talented artists and I'm creating my own world. My father sadly passed away a year and a half ago, but I spoke with Daniel, actually, Daniel Zorom, and we've created an artist piece of him, and I've made him a character in my world, which he'll be coming out a bit later in the year. But it's just a way of me immortalizing my father. It was just a great experience. Very, very sad one, but also when I release him and show the artwork, it's a really proud moment as well, because it's something I can do that you wouldn't be able to do normally in any other career.
No.
But yet, Dad, I've made you into a demigod in my world.
Oh, yeah, that's really lovely.
Yeah, it's just something. I just thought about it one day and thought, I can't not. It's great.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for coming on the show today, Ben. It's been so nice to talk to you again. Like, I've missed you. We were talking before the show started about how we miss shows and we miss being able to talk to each other and just nerding out with everyone.
Yeah.
And
this is great. Seeing you again for it's been a year. It's been a year since I've seen you. And just chatting on here is great, and talking to other people. So yeah, thank you for the opportunity. It's great to talk to you.
That is quite right. And so Small Scale Chatter is brought into being by the wonderful patrons that I have on patreon.com, Geek Girl Bookworm. They are Themo, Tim, Brandon, Charlotte, Chris, Fenris Games, Ben, DC Bradshaw, David, Frankie, Gav Thorpe, Hanno, Louis, Bob, Paul, who is in the chat. Hey, Paul. Richard, Silverglass, One Sick Bunny, and Anton. You are amazing, awesome superheroes to me who have supported me for like 2 years as I've gone through miniature painting into this new endeavor. You are amazing. If you want to help and have your name called out and have me call you amazing as well, you can join patreon.com/geekgirlbookworm from as little as £2 a month. It's not very much money at all. Please, join. If there's another tier, which is £6 a month, and you get, when we hit our first goal, you're going to get like super cool physical rewards with that as well. So do think about it. Come and help me out. It'll be super cool awesomeness. Yes. So for anyone who needs Cerberus Studios, the link is in the chat now, cerberus-studios.com. And it is in the information for YouTube and for Facebook. And when this becomes a podcast on Monday, it will be in the links for the podcast as well. Please go and download it, stick it in your ears. It's a cool thing to have.
Yeah, and if you've missed the chat live tonight, send us a message, whether it be on any social media platform, whether it be email. Always love to hear from people.
Yes. They're very responsive and delightful. And join the Facebook group for Cerberus Studios, which I'll put another link in the chat now as well. Do join the Facebook group. You know, show off your model, show off your painting, and
what you think about
ask questions there.
Yeah, all sorts of things. We're happy to talk about anything and everything.
Right. Well, thank you everyone for coming along. Thank you, Ben. It's time to sign off now.
See you soon, hope. Hopefully, UK games will be a thing of reality, and we can see each other in the flesh, so to speak.
Yes, UK Games Expo, and then Salute.
Yeah.
All the cool things. It will happen.
Great shows. See everybody in the community again. See them just interacting and the exhibition stands. That's what we all want. So let's put this pandemic behind us. Get rid of isolation and all get together again.
Yay! Well, good night, everyone.
See you soon. Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Good seeing you again soon. See you later. Bye.